Welcome back, watch people. You know what time it is. I am here tonight. It's That Watch Guy London. And apparently, I'm the special guest.
Great to have you, Paul. Great to have you.
Nice to be here, gang. Lovely to be here.
Paul, lovely to drag you from Brighton.
Good evening, Janilda, Spencer,
Here he is.
Gavin.
Hello.
It's nice to have a professional in the
Everyone.
house.
We got the real Paul Thorpe in the show.
confident.
We got the Don. We got the original Don in the house on the show.
I'm not sure about the
Everyone is very, very excited. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Had a good week. I can see lots of people are saying hello already. Good evening, Ian, Rosie, Jacob. Nice to have Red Shovel with us. I saw Gringers with us as well. Hello, how you doing? We've had a bit of a day, haven't we, boys and girls?
Oh,
haven't we?
what a day we've had. We have actually, my stomach is still a little bit painful from the laughing.
Is it? But what we're not going to give too much away just yet. Guys, as always, if you do have any questions you'd like to ask of Janilda, Spencer or Paul, then please do pop them in the comments and we will get round to them as quickly as we can. We'll keep an eye on what's coming through. I've got to tell you, you've got a big chair to follow after last week. Greggy Boy did an unbelievable job for us.
He was amazing. I thought he's like a bang-on pro. I mean, move over everyone and bring in Greggy Boy. Yeah,
fantastic.
He was
Really
good.
was.
And the comments that Greg got in, because I do go through and read them, and he got some fantastic comments from everybody. I really enjoyed having him on the show, and great to hear all about his perfume and scent business.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. So, Greg, great to have you on the show last week. I'm looking forward to having you back at some point. And by the way, it's not just limited to Paul and Greg. We'd like to invite any of our lovely subscribers. If you think you should come and guest host with us, if you think you should be in with a shot of sitting in the hot seat and giving the intro to the show, please drop it in the comments, and we'll give it some consideration. You also get dinner on Spencer as well, which always works out quite well. What do we have tonight, Paul? We got a pizza.
We had a pizza tonight. I mean, to be fair, it weren't too bad.
Well, you told me where you want to go next, haven't you?
Yeah. I've spotted a restaurant that I fancy next. I can't remember the name. What's it called? Is that one where the
Nusret.
Yeah, that's it. The
Salt
one,
Bay, Nusret. Yeah, we're going in for £600 steaks. We're doing like they do in America.
£1,000 ahead, I think you'll get away with it.
Yeah,
I think he
I
deserves a bit of that.
everybody. Lots of it. Marcus Maximus, evening all. Good to see Paul. Jacob says, great to see Paul on the show. Gringer says, legendary crew tonight, guys. Right, straight into it. Watch on the wrist. What's on the wrist? Janilda. Now, hold on. We should state, our watches on our wrists have been chosen for us this evening by Mr. Thorpe.
And one thing,
Paul.
nothing Rolex tonight. Remember that?
No Rolex tonight.
No.
So the brief to Paul was, we all met up this morning. We'll talk about what we've done today in just a minute. But the brief to Paul was, go through the BQ vault, pick out some watches for us to wear tonight. Watches that you think are value and why, and we'll all wear them. So let's start with you, Janilda. What have you got?
I have a Hublot Big Bang.
Hold up to your camera.
Where's my camera? Yeah. Which is carbon, Box and Papers 2012.
That's beautiful.
I don't know if you can see it, but I really like the old black look of it. It's very
Beautiful.
cool.
That looks amazing on your
Yeah.
wrist.
Absolutely gorgeous. We'll pass that round in a second. We'll talk about these a little bit later. Spencer, what have you got on your wrist?
I've got here the Luminor submersible, again in the black. You see that there? The Panerai, and this is a 1950 3-day PAM 508.
That's absolutely stunning, by the way. I love that. I saw that at the show,
I like
funnily
the
enough.
strap.
Yeah, I really love the strap
I
on
Something
it.
a
cannot
little bit
believe
different.
that watch hasn't sold.
Yeah, it's just different
I
Yeah.
think it's lovely.
and a great size.
Paul, what have you got on?
I have the Hublot Big Bang King 44mm in gold. Let's have a look. Let me see if I can give you a closer look. There you go, guys.
I mean,
That's
I actually have to say, I don't care what anybody says about Hublot. I'm obviously not a watch aficionado, but I really love them. And what is it you loved about that watch? Why you picked it out?
Well, two or three things. Firstly, I don't go along with this anti-Hublot brigade myself, personally. I mean, are they bit expensive new? Well, yeah, but so are a lot of other brands. But this watch retails for £25,200. And when I saw the price of it, bearing in mind that it's in mint condition-ish, I mean, it might need a little bit of a tidy up to get it like new, 15 grand or thereabouts. I mean, it's a big.
Everybody else is scrambling around for premiums, and there are watches out there that, you know, despite of the bashing of
Absolutely,
Hublot,
but all the pieces here
it's value.
are under list. They're all under list.
I like this. I mean, I think it's value for money. I'm looking at a new AP myself at the moment. And when I look at the price of that, I mean, it's a big, big.
Beautiful.
Everybody else is scrambling around for premiums, and there are watches out there that, you know, despite of the bashing of Hublot, it's and what you get by comparison, I think this offers value, and I say that from the heart. I really do.
And I've picked out to wear one of your picks as well. I picked out an IWC Portuguese, which actually, Paul, chronograph in blue. If you can put that on in front of the camera.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And I picked that one to wear, even though you picked it out. But
these are one of the best put together watches, Paul. Would you not agree?
I really like this. Yeah, lovely quality. Yeah.
And that's a discontinued watch, 2015, box and papers, £7,500.
Yeah, it's a lot of watch for the money.
It is, isn't it?
The dial's nice. The dial's the right colour. Deploying clasp. Everything about it is right. So, I just thought I'd put that in with my pick tonight.
Beautiful. Okay.
We've got one more piece there.
Oh, yeah.
Paul, if you want to show that. Again, this is an all-time classic. Have sold for years, the Navitimer.
Another watch that I've always said that I've had a lot of time for over the years is the Breitling Navitimer. Again, I mean, most of these watches are big. Everyone knows that I like a big watch, so you'll have to excuse me, guys, for picking out the biggies tonight. Got a few little fingerprints on it.
That's $250. That's extreme value for the money.
That's really a lovely, lovely watch.
I mean, obviously the comments are coming through from the Chili Badger and others saying, yes, Nico doing an Exorcist head spin as we speak. And it's very trendy to bash certain brands, and it's people's opinions at the end of the day. But we're not talking about paying list or paying over list. We're talking about substantial discounts.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, would I want to go and pay, over 25 grand for this particular Hublot? The answer to that is, if I'm honest, not really.
Yeah.
Would I pay 15 grand for it? Absolutely,
because it's a bit more appealing.
It's 100% more appealing, isn't it?
Everything at the right price always sells.
And it's gold as well.
Yeah.
We're not talking stainless steel. It's precious metal. Yeah. It's a precious metal watch. So, look, guys, moan away if you like, but I like it. I think it's a great. Let me just put it under that camera once again. I think it's a great look. Let's have a look. There you go. Now, what is wrong with that?
Yeah.
Now,
it's got the skeleton back as well, hasn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, Spencer, you couldn't resist because obviously you didn't want to wear one of these, did you? You actually did have your Rolex with you, didn't you, as well?
Correct.
Yeah.
But as you all have a go at me for wearing
we all had a go at Spencer.
I hear I've got to change the watch every week. So here we go, the same. But I do like this. And let me tell you, over time, I've had a good few different Panarais. I think they're great watches.
Yeah, definitely. Spencer told me that he changes his watch every time he changes his underpants. About once a fortnight.
I actually thought, I mean, we won't give too much away just yet, but I thought there was an opportunity to see his underpants today, actually.
There was
you
almost
me for everything else.
Yeah.
It could have been pants and socks.
Yeah, we've had a great day today, though.
So let's tell you what we've been up to today, guys. Today, Spencer, what have we got coming up in the middle of November?
We've got the MV Augusta show. We've got the show at MV Augusta, which is 60 Sloane Avenue. And if you want to see some of the coolest motorbikes you'll ever see, this is the place. And Paul, I'm sure you'll agree. I took Paul and Gavin there to see the place today so we could see the full setup and how we're going to lay the counters out, the food, the drink. There's a coffee bar that's going to be turned into a champagne stroke wine bar, gin bar, whiskey bar, whatever bar you want, it'll be turned into. You can see all the bikes. And
what did you think of it, Paul?
I love it. Well, I've always been a fan of MV Augusta. I had one myself less than a couple of years ago. They are the Ferrari of motorcycles, if you like, Italian made. Anyone that's not familiar with MV Augusta, Google it and have a look at the bikes they make. They're works of art. They actually call them.
It's referred to as motorcycle
art. Yeah. I mean, they are phenomenal machines. And I think it's a great venue. There's I think something else that's important, Spencer, is there's a lot there for people to do. If they want to slide off after a couple of hours, they can nip down the road. You've got the King's Road just around the corner, Harrods just around the corner.
You've got great restaurants. Conran shop.
Yeah. Perfect.
There's just something for everyone.
Yeah, something for everyone, and I can't wait.
Red Shovel saying, see you all at the show. Flights and hotel booked.
Good man.
Andrew James says booked in for Saturday afternoon. And Spencer, tell everybody. Oh, Janilda.
Yes.
Tell everybody, how do they book in for the show?
Right. So you have to go on our website where you can book either Saturday or Sunday. Again, if you're a little bit late, if you want to stay longer, it's not a problem. It's just to give us an idea of how many people we're going to have. And it's free, so easy and no
the
charge.
drinks are on Spencer.
Yeah, no,
absolutely, they are.
I mean, I think everybody's kind of, I know from the BQ side of things, we're all excited to see everybody again and sort of get the watches out. And it's a totally cool venue. In fact, talking of a totally cool venue, we took I know it was really quick because we've literally just come from there, but we sent the footage back to my guys and they put a little edit together. So take a look at this.
So this is showroom, Paul. Look
Oh,
here.
it's beautiful.
Yeah?
I love it. Yeah, it's
Look at
absolutely cracking. Yeah.
Yeah?
Let's have a look. So guys, we are here at MV Augusta in the most beautiful part of London. I'm with my good old sparring partner, Spencer Dryer. Spencer, this is the venue for the next Winter Watch People's
That's
Weekend.
right, 13th and 14th of November.
So looking forward to it. The venue, I mean, honestly, it's lovely. Loads of beautiful bikes to look at on the day. There'll be loads of lovely watches to look at all. And of course, the good news is they can meet me. The bad news is they'll be able to meet you as well.
Absolutely, they got to see both of us. But Paul, I can see you buying a bike. I
know.
can't see you leaving here without a bike.
Do you know something,
I just
guys?
don't know which one.
I said to Spencer before we got here, whatever you do not try and talk me into buying another bike. I've walked in here and he hasn't even got to try to talk me into buying. These things are just works of art. Absolutely love MV Augusta. Had one myself. Unfortunately, that one was stolen from
Yeah,
me.
you mentioned that.
So I might have to think about replacing it. But a lovely venue, and I can't wait. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be a great weekend.
So Spencer, let's have a little look around at some of these beautiful Italian motorcycles, guys. These are so hot, it is unbelievable.
We have the cabinets along here and along this side, so that'll be the cabinets. They'll move the bikes back.
Yeah.
Then we'll have the hospitality outside, some beers, champagne, wine,
Yeah.
a few snacks, a few bits going on. Just should be great, the 2 days.
100%.
And then after, as you know, and people have asked us, we're going to stay up here
Yeah.
so they can have a drink with us, take us out for dinner,
Yeah.
take us shopping to Harrods, whatever
Yeah.
they want to do.
Do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
Right guys, that's it for now. I am now going to take Spencer into central London. We're going to Harrods, we're going to Selfridges, and I'm going to get him bang at it. That's for another video. Let's go.
I mean, I'm literally falling over with Uncle Jonga's comment here. Has Paul Thorpe borrowed those red shoes from producer Michael's wardrobe? Paul.
Listen, I think they're all right. I'm okay
You got
with
out
it.
the car this morning.
Yeah.
I took one look and I
Yeah.
thought, oh my God, it's Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
Look, I was in a red car. I'm wearing a red
It's gotta
pair
be
of shoes.
colour-coded with
I
the
like a
shoes
bit
for
of
the
colour
car.
coordination.
We did have a fantastic day out. And as you can see, the venue is pretty special. It's pretty amazing. The good news is that, bring your family, bring your kids. Harrods is just around the corner. You can pop off there, have a little look around. And there's some real good sights to see around there in terms of shopping. It's coming up to Christmas. I think it's a
Absolutely.
great choice, Spencer.
One other thing, we have put up on the site hotels that are nearby.
Yes.
We're going to be staying over and meeting people on the Friday night and Saturday
Yeah.
night
Yeah.
there and be available to have drinks, and
Yeah.
we'll be doing that.
That's a
And-
big part of it. Sorry, Gav, I said
Yeah.
a big part of it is that we want to meet you guys. We want to be able to spend more time with you guys, speak to you socially about your watches, etc. It's not just, come and go. And that's why we're going to be staying late so that every one of you gets
And
a
there's
chance to
links
meet
up
us.
to the hotel. It's not a fortune. There's
Yeah.
one directly opposite.
Yeah.
They're all
That's
on
where
our
you guys
site.
are gonna be
We're going to
staying.
be staying at the
Yeah.
Chelsea
Spencer's booked me
Cloisters.
into a sleeping
I've-
bag on the pavement.
I think you've got half a studio.
Is that right?
Half a
Half.
studio.
Right, now that we've covered the shoes, can we move on to Paul's jacket? So the irony about this is that it's not to be shown today, but we went out shooting for Paul's channel today because Paul has decided in his infinite wisdom that Spencer needs a makeover. Spencer needs a makeover.
Out of grey, blue or black.
And he wants him more in the style of Paul Thorpe. So check out Paul's channel coming up in the next few days and you'll see what we got
Gav,
up to
the other
today.
thing we must mention,
Yeah.
that I was going shopping for my 40th and my father was treating
That
me.
was hilarious, yeah.
Guys, you'll see some of the banter. I've got to tell you that we actually nearly got through out of Harrods.
Yes,
But
yes.
You'll see. But we've had an enjoyable day today,
Yeah.
and we've
What
had
was
some
that
fun.
with the diamonds?
Well, we went into Harrods, didn't we? And I wanted to show you a stone that I particularly like that you said you might buy for Janilda.
Yeah.
And we asked the price, and we had a little.
They were
bit.
reasonable
were
numbers,
reasonable.
weren't they?
One-
Reasonable. Well, actually, we should have shown the viewers the stone.
Well, they can see that on Paul's channel.
see
'Cause
it.
I
Okay,
did,
they'll
shoot- I
see
did
that,
shoot
yeah.
it for you.
So we'll keep quiet about the numbers,
Okay.
but it's worth to see.
He didn't buy it, but
We
There you
thought
go.
we're thinking about
we're
it.
thinking about one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm actually gonna let something loose. Paul, you're the only bloke I know who walks into the most expensive part of Harrods, sees a diamond, I won't say how much, but in excess of around £1 million, and says, I think there's profit in that if we buy it. We've walked into Harrods, the most expensive retailer on the planet. You see a diamond, you go, Spence, I think we should have that. There's profit in it.
Well, I think there is a profit.
You do, don't you?
I do,
you
and
genuinely believe that.
I explain why I think there's a profit in it, and even the salesman in Graff said, "Sir, you know your diamonds." I do know my diamonds, and I think there's a profit. Not at the price they were asking, but they could be rattled, I'm sure.
Yes,
They
absolutely.
could be rattled.
Andrew James says, I think it should be Janilda should take Spencer shopping. She's definitely got the style.
Absolutely. She's looking so Avengers tonight.
And Gav, how many
she's
people?
Looking like
fantastic.
a Bond girl or something.
She does look a very
Who did
Bond.
we have? So when we started off at Harrods, a few
Hold on,
people-
stop.
All right, okay,
Stop.
okay.
Before we even got into Harrods, we need to discuss this, okay? Because, you know, there's a little bit of fame that comes with Paul, and we're just a hanger-oners. We know him, we're friends. We got to know each other over the last 2 years, and we're walking along. Before we even get to Harrods, some fella stops him outside and wants a photograph with him. So we think to ourselves, okay, but that's, you know, what are the chances?
number one.
That's number one. We get inside, we get upstairs, we're doing like fancy dress shopping for Spencer. Some fella brings over his entire family. You're Paul Thorpe. I love your channel. Can I have a
Scotland,
photograph?
what Edinburgh he
From
was
Scotland.
From Edinburgh, yeah.
That's number two. We then get to Selfridges. We decide we'll talk about the Selfridges
Hang on,
experience a bit
before
more.
then, where was it where I went into the first store? That was in Selfridges.
Harrods, that was.
Harrods.
The first,
Harrods was the first store, Spence.
No, when I
Selfridges
went
second.
to speak about
The watches.
Rolex, about the watches.
Yeah. So we thought we'd have a little experiment today, and we sent Spencer as our like undercover spy into the AD today. He did a great job of chatting to everybody. We haven't actually looked at the footage because obviously they weren't happy about us filming. But we're going to have a little listen. But basically, and in essence, in Harrods, it was very, very no security all over us, and we were made to feel very, very uncomfortable, probably because I had a camera. But in Selfridges,
They were lovely.
absolutely
different.
amazing, weren't they?
Yeah, they were very good. I mean, to be fair, the sales guy in Rolex in Harrods was friendly enough.
Yes, he was.
The actual salesman, he was a nice, friendly guy. But I thought the atmosphere in Selfridges, personally, was a lot more
softer,
friendly.
wasn't it?
I thought it was a lot softer,
Yeah.
But I found that before. But
And
well done to
the AD in Selfridges, knew you, is a fan of your channel, watches your channel, and was really kind of excited to meet you.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was number three. We then step outside there to another watch counter. The fella basically wanted a photograph with you. He was a lovely guy. And then we go and look at the pre-owned.
And there was someone else, a
someone
Spanish
else.
guy, the Spanish
What
guy.
are the chances? 5 people in one day, Paul.
There you go. It's because I'm with you, Spencer.
I think he set it up, Gav.
I think he set it up as well. Wow. There we go.
Never.
Paul needs some help
Hang on,
with
what's going on there?
Colour.
Self is for sale 4 billion.
But who's buying it? Okay, the Western
Spence,
family's
is that
put
you?
up sale.
Have you been putting in bids for
4 billion.
Selfridges?
Yeah.
That's quite reasonable. I think
Greggy
there's
Boy
profit in
says,
that.
I'm queuing to meet Jacob at the watch show. 'Cause
Yes,
Jacob's coming to join
Jacob's
us, isn't
coming
he?
over.
Yeah, Jacob.
We're very much looking forward to meeting you in the flesh, Jacob. Looking forward to that very much. Let's catch up on a bit of the sort of Rolex speculation, because there's lots of it. I know we've obviously been into a few ADs today, and we've had a bit of fun, asking them what they're... You actually did get to try on a watch, didn't you, today?
Yeah.
What did you try
It
on?
was a 37mm Yachtmaster in rose, but it was just too small.
It was too small
Definitely
for you.
a lady's watch.
We
Really
tried
is.
bargaining as well, didn't we? Said, we're going to give it...
You asked for a discount,
Oh,
didn't
We
you?
yeah.
asked for a
discount,
discount,
yeah.
and I said, if I buy this, could I get a Daytona? I said, we can't guarantee it, but we'll see what we can do.
The thing is, we did make ourselves look a bit silly, really, because we asked for a discount, and then he let on that he knew who he was, didn't he? So he kind of played a double bluff with us.
Everybody else is just trying to get a watch from Rolex, and you lot are trying to get a watch at a discount like it's 1987.
You can't help it. It's old habits die hard, don't they, Spencer?
It was very, very funny day out though. I'm really excited actually for everybody to see what we shot for Paul's channel today, because it was great fun,
good,
and Spencer, obviously happy 40th birthday coming up. That is a joke, everybody. He's obviously not 40. Uncle Jonga says, watch question, guys. We'll direct this at you, Paul.
Yeah.
Yachtmaster with the rhodium, slate dial, or the bright blue dial?
For me, do you know what? I probably would have gone for the blue dial. But I'm kind of looking at the rhodium dial, preferring that now. I don't think there's a wrong or a right answer.
Yeah.
I think it's whatever you like. I think from a God, forgive me for saying this, but perhaps from a resale value,
Yeah.
the Blue Dial's probably going to be a little bit easier to sell to someone in the future.
A deal
maybe.
agent saying that
slightly better.
the
I
Blue
think
Dial is
slightly
phenomenal.
Stronger.
Yeah, just be careful of that bezel. Make sure you keep the bezel in good condition, or if you're buying that the bezel is in good condition. That's important, but nice watch.
Yep. Rara says, looking forward to see Spenny's new outfits.
Rah, good man.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be looking to that. Chili Badger, Nico Leonard, nothing to see. Move along. Everyone has a bloody Hublot tonight. Well, there's only 2, to be fair.
We've got 2 out.
There's
Is
only
that
2.
Nico himself on there?
No,
is
that was
it?
the Chili Badger.
Oh, okay,
that was the Chili
yeah.
Badger. Paul and Spencer, my favourite duo, says watch Gringa.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Brett. You're a star.
Now, what are we thinking? We went past a few ADs today, and there was lots of exhibition pieces, are they called?
Yeah. That's what I went into the other store, didn't I, in
Oxford
Regent Street.
No, Oxford Street. Oxford Street, Spence.
Oxford
Opposite
Street.
Selfridges is
This
Oxford
sort of,
Street.
it happens
It's
at a
an
certain
age
age,
thing.
this sort of
It's
thing.
an age thing.
But that's what I was saying, where I spoke to the lady and she gave me the full rundown and literally said, it doesn't matter what you buy, we can't guarantee that you'll ever get what you want.
But she
I mean,
wanted
she
you to
had
buy, though,
nothing.
didn't she?
She wanted me to buy,
you to
but
buy.
she had nothing in it
Yeah.
besides heavily diamond set gold pieces.
Even the Datejust in the window were
Nothing.
exhibition
Exhibition
only.
pieces.
The Datejust, exhibition only.
Nico's
Datejust.
just chimed in with too many. for your
too
Hublots.
many.
Too many
and that-
Hublots.
Is that the Nico?
Yeah, Nico's just chimed in. Too
Nico?
many.
Don't forget tomorrow night.
Yeah, don't forget. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean,
But there's nothing. There's no stock.
No, very little about.
Nothing.
Very little about.
and that was the story actually when we got to Selfridges as well. The very nice guys were sort of telling us there's just nothing across any of the
Yeah,
ranges, was
yeah.
it? Whether you wanted AP.
I thought all the AD salespeople today were actually really nice. I couldn't criticise any of them really. I thought they were all friendly. They
Super
were all,
friendly, weren't they?
Yeah,
actually?
they were. I mean,
Really,
the
really
guys
lovely
in Selfridges were particularly friendly. I
We
mean,
lovely Spanish young man.
very nice Spanish young man. If you're watching, hello, thanks for
But
your nice comments.
Selfridges was very
Laid
bright
back.
and fresh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was just.
Yeah, definitely a big up to Selfridges today.
Yeah.
As I said, I think the thing that came over today really, Gav, looking around, was the lack of stock everywhere.
Yeah.
There was
It
nothing in the AP, was there?
There was nothing AP, not a lot in the Rolex boutique, and just in general, everything was in low supply.
Yeah. Panerai wasn't badly stocked.
Yeah,
There some
Panerai was
nice
okay.
Panerais.
Yeah, I mean, people were, the Tag Heuer salesmen were
Yeah.
trying to drag people in, but that wasn't happening. But no, I mean, look, as it is at the moment, everywhere we go, there's nothing much around.
I did notice when we were walking around the gents' clothing floor, and I screamed out, "Look, there's some great watches," and you all just carried on walking. And
Swatch. Yeah, but that's
Yeah, it was a
Paul,
swatch stand.
Paul said to me, just ignore it.
Yeah.
He did say, just carry
They
on.
had a
Just
special
ignore Gav.
edition for,
We just
for 2021. You all walked straight past it. It was 39 quid. What's the matter with you?
more interested in the jeans.
Yeah,
weren't
we
You
was.
almost
Yeah,
bought some white jeans.
Yeah, I wanted to buy some jeans, but Spencer wouldn't wait for me to try them on. so
I mean,
had to-
literally, Paul picks. You pick. Everyone has a silhouette. I find when they get dressed, as in you see, I always wear black, and it's always the same stuff. So Spencer, you've definitely got a silhouette. And Paul, you have your own silhouette, don't you? It's white jeans.
Yeah.
It's red shoes, Dorothy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found a perfect pair of whitey, creamy, ripped jeans today with some. They were nice.
They were quite nice.
They were nice. They were nice. They were a bit of me. They were
But Gav, how quick the day went. We were out like 11
crazy.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bang.
Darren Cookson asked a very interesting question,
okay.
actually. Guys, why do you think that Rolex have now started exhibition only? I mean, they've decided to put watches in the window.
It is their way of enticing people. It's clickbait. It's clickbait. It's quite simple. This is what we can try and promise you if you come in. And well, so is something else. So it's clickbait for me.
Well, it's like a car showroom, isn't it, with a demonstrator. Come and have a look at it. You can't have it for 6-9 months, but
Yeah,
it's
but
a
at least you can
demonstrator.
order it.
Yeah, but at least you can order it.
But you can't. Oh, it's true.
Well, you can't.
True, you can't.
No, you can't.
I mean, this
can't.
is what I
Yeah. Even the
I tried to-
the demonstrator's a bit of a waste of time in
yeah.
some
I
ways.
tried to put a business head on it, and I think to myself, okay, I'm a multi-million pound, billion-pound conglomerate. I'm Rolex, and I want to entice everybody into buy my watches. But even if I show you what you can have, you can't have it.
Yeah.
And so, where does that actually help?
Well, I don't see that it's making any sense to you. But, I mean, I don't want to bore people, but I've gone through this before. My theory is that Rolex want to get rid of their ADs ultimately.
Yeah.
I don't see any other
We'll
way
go
around it.
Go online.
Well, they're just
easy.
Why? Why do they even need their authorised dealers these days? I mean, they've got a product that they can sell with their eyes closed and their hands tied behind their back. Why are they giving people the 38.5% to sell their watch for them? They could quite happily put their prices up 10, 15, 20%.
Sell direct.
I
mean, they're sending all the repairs out. They send them out in special delivery. They can deliver them, not an issue. The only thing they got to get round is a sizing issue.
Well, I don't think they can actually go. I mean, I can't ever see that happening going online, Spencer. You've got to have the buying experience. You've got to have that hands-on experience. The boutiques in the
but
plus
then have
cities,
a few of their own boutiques.
A fewer more
That's all they
spectacular
need.
of their own boutiques.
Yeah.
Gringa makes a good point. She says, I wonder if they're trying to entice people into different pieces. I know when I go to exhibits, I'll be turned onto different watches than I thought I would be.
Of course, absolutely. She's right, 100%.
Yeah.
But you can't now because you can't touch them. There's nothing there today.
Well, other brands, Spencer.
Other brands, yeah.
brands.
But
And this
not
is the other thing, you see. How does this work for Rolex in Geneva? How does it work for Rolex, for their brand, to be used as clickbait, to go into someone's store and buy someone else's?
Correct.
How does that work?
Yeah.
So it only works for a store like Watches Switzerland where there's multiple brands.
It's not working for Rolex, is it?
No.
Nick Burns says, do you guys think that Rolex will shut down their AD network overnight, or will it be pruned and thinned out over the course of a year or so?
Pruned and thinned out, and it is
But it
already
is
being
being,
pruned
it is being,
and thinned out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say one wrong thing, not put the investment
Yellow
into
card, red
refurbing.
card.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Nico says they've been testing online sales with Tudor. Interesting.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it
That
is a good point.
very
Take
good
your
point.
junior brand,
Yeah.
test it out, test the market. When I go back to our first shows, sometimes when I'm bored in the middle of the night, I tend to watch us. And I remember making a comment. Sorry, Paul. I remember making a comment because obviously way before we were all into watches, I was very much into trainers. Some people call them sneakers. I'm of an age where I call them trainers.
Yeah.
And I would say that, places like, Adidas open up, their Adidas stores, Adidas Online, Adidas Confirmed, which is the app where you get the special editions. And I remember putting it to you and saying, I think that that's what Rolex will ultimately do. And maybe, open up their own channels, their own direct sales channels. And maybe that is sort of what's coming to fruition. But it does make sense because are AP doing that now, Paul? Was it AP?
Yeah, AP are doing that. Yeah. They're bringing all their sales pretty much in-house.
Paul, you've said about the buying experience. Some people just want the watch. They don't want the buying
I
experience.
do.
Not everyone does.
No.
If
I
it's
agree.
your first one, you want the buying experience. After that, if you know that
what
you want
Yeah.
Submariner or a Daytona, if it's your third, fifth Rolex, you just want it.
I
You
think
don't
the
need the
example,
whole...
Spencer, the example is Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton don't put Louis Vuitton in different concessions here, there and everywhere where you can go in and buy either Louis Vuitton or Hermes or whatever. Louis Vuitton is Louis Vuitton. And they're using, as far as I'm aware at least, so they're using their own boutiques, and that is what I see ultimately the route of Rolex going down, their own boutiques with their own staff, their own trained staff that follow their own rules, their own regulations, and it will,
Would
make
you say
things a
the
lot
same with
smoother.
Prada, Cartier, and those sort of stores?
Yeah.
But they're good, and those stores work, but they've got stock. Rolex haven't got the stock, so that's why...
Might change if they were selling them all for themselves, though. I mean,
Do you think it will?
Well, look, as I said, I can only go back to the plain statistics and the plain financial side of things. At the moment, they're giving circa 38.5% to their dealers for selling their watch. I mean, would you give someone 38.5% to sell the easiest thing in the world to sell?
Is it
It's a high
38? I thought it's
percentage.
gone down to 32 or 33.
Well, it used
now.
Spencer, I've been retired for 3 years, so it might have gone down a
Okay,
little bit.
you're
but
right.
it was 38.5%.
30 to the, yeah,
Would,
it's still a lot
guys,
of money.
Look, I'll ask you out there, if you had a product that is so easy to sell that people were banging on your door and you had a queue down the road, would you give that product to someone else to sell,
resell it?
to resell it and let them make 30%? Personally, I would say, well, look, I tell you what, you get lost. I'll put the price up 10% and I'll sell it all myself. Sell it direct.
I've also had the comments over time, and as all our subscribers know and anybody who watches the channel, my watch knowledge is semi-limited. I've always learned as we've gone over the past sort of 8-9 months.
Sure.
And I've heard the comments saying that Rolex, they can't. they don't support the secondary. They don't like the secondary market. Don't like the grey market. And I've always felt, as an outsider looking from a business perspective, it's absolutely got to suit them in terms of the hype and the squeeze and everything else that goes on. And people are saying they want to shut down the grey market. They'll open their own exchanges or whatever it's going to be, and they'll bring it all in house. What do we think about that?
The only crime. When someone gets caught flipping, or when someone's flipping, and the only crime is being caught. Yeah. That's the crime. Yeah. The crime is not actually doing the flipping or the reselling. They know exactly what goes on. They know exactly who they're selling to. Rolex have teams of people that mystery shop. They scour for eBay for people that are daft enough to take photographs of their watches and leave the serial numbers on view or part of. They don't need the full serial number. And then they'll ban the customer. They'll ring up that authorised dealer and say, this customer is flipping, ban him. So the crime is getting caught, not the actual process. They know what we're doing. And sorry to go on this one, but Spencer, in the past, we've had representatives from fairly large companies. They've told me we need the grey market.
Yep.
Well, we support their primary market. The grey market supports the primary.
I mean, let's be honest.
Otherwise, the primary wouldn't be as strong.
There's no pre-owned market. There's no brand new market.
You guys also help create the hype. Whether you're a YouTuber, whether you are a grey market dealer, you are perpetuating the momentum by facilitating the buyers and sellers.
You know what, Gav? Sometimes we're probably guilty of inflating and overhype. You know, we are responsible.
But us and the people buying, all of us.
Yeah. Ian Cooper makes a really great comment. Life's too short to wait. Everything's available. Just pay more, have less, and enjoy it longer. Yep. Very sensible. Wise words there. Wise words. Nick Burns says, if Rolex do away completely with their AD network, how many of their own stores do you think there will be? Just one in London? That's an interesting question. We talked about
they'd have a few in major cities. Yeah. And if people want the buying experience, they go to the boutique. And if they just want the watch, you can just have it sent out.
I do think it would be diluted to sort of, as you said, major cities. It wouldn't be 5 or 6 in London. You might have a couple in London. But
in London,
one in Birmingham, one in Manchester.
Greggy Boy says, Nico, cover your eyes. I'm tempted to buy the Hublot that Paul is wearing. It is a stunning piece.
It's value for money. I'm going to try and sell Nico. I've actually got a little plan to try and sell Nico a Hublot one day.
I'm not sure that'll ever happen.
We'll see.
You were going to try and do it at the watch show.
I'm going to bribe him.
You're going to bribe him. So interesting. Anybody watch Netflix here? Anybody watch Netflix?
Yeah.
Or watch the sort of unbelievable documentaries they do about this and that? I want someone to make a Netflix documentary on Rolex. That's what I now want to see. I want someone to go into Rolex, a big production company, and not necessarily spill the beans. I genuinely want to know what goes on inside there.
I think there's more chance of getting into Area 51.
It feels like that.
51? Is it Area 51? Yeah, I think there's more chance of getting into Area 51 than getting into Rolex.
Gavin, I'll tell you what I think would make a great show, and Paul, you know something, going through the years, people would be shocked if you went through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, how many Rolexes you'd see in a store, and you'd see GMTs and Submariners in depth sitting in the window. They didn't sell because we know it. We've seen watches with a serial number from 74 that didn't sell till 79. So when I buy the watch, I'm looking and look at the serial number. Hang on, there's something wrong here. What's going on?
Or the paper,
because it sat in the window for 5 years.
2 or 3 years at least,
Daytonas in the 70s, now they're worth fortunes, didn't sell. GMTs, Submariners, a lot of these pieces. People didn't buy Rolexes like the day dates. A man would be like 50 years of age. Now you've got 30-year-old women wearing day dates.
Yeah.
It's all changed.
I think
that would just be an amazing film to see, just of pictures of watches and shops and how many people serving watches, how they didn't sell. You'd be shocked about it.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because if you look back at your history, both of you, okay, and you've been around a long time, and whenever we sit and we chatted in the car today going up to town, and you were telling me, and we talked about it before, you could buy watches at a 25, maybe 30% discount a list.
Not that long ago.
Not that long ago, yeah.
6, 8 years ago.
Dealers, even out of ADs. I think I mentioned either in the car today or on the show the other night that I was in the Bahamas, or it was somewhere out that way, and they offered me 10% off to GMT,
Off the
Batman's. If I 10% off if I bought both of them, and they were both in the window. I didn't buy them because I'd have to pay the VAT on the way back into the UK, but 10%, and that was from an authorised dealer, and that was probably, I don't know, 2016.
But even certain dealers in the UK, I remember years ago, to turn over things, they knew they could replace the stock, so it wasn't an issue to sell things at discount.
Should we just
stop, everyone?
Go on.
Rick Hild says, "Bring in Hilda. She's getting bored." Janilda, what do you think?
They're just talking about what happened 20 years ago.
You weren't even born. You weren't even born. I mean, can you believe it? A 30% discount?
No, I wouldn't. Like, it is for us, I think, for my generation, it's just not, we can't accept that it used to be like that, you know? Because now it's just normal. Rolex are so popular, but it's crazy.
It wasn't always like that.
It wasn't always
It wasn't like that.
Yeah, Uncle Jonga says, I bought the 50th anniversary sub M series for 2,980. Retail at the time was 3,280. I mean,
so you got £400.
It is amazing.
Like
right.
12%.
So here's my other big thing. Obviously, naive watch person. So I look at all these crazy prices and I think, yeah, still models going, Daytona's going. Yeah, you have some very old watches, like vintage Rolexes, which just still look extremely cheap. And yet I don't understand how the older models are just not now, you know,
are we talking
the same
like
multiples.
First World War?
Yeah.
Are we talking 30s, 40s? I think the reason for that is, Gavin, is quite simple. Is first of all, mechanically, they're not as resilient.
Yeah.
And as a watch itself, they're not as resilient. You can't wear a 1920s, 1930s Rolex really to work. It's not going to be resilient enough. The second
Why
thing
doesn't that
is
make it an investment piece, though?
because
they
of
were
the
small
size.
sizes
The
as well.
size.
They were,
I mean,
they were
But
small.
that's a desirability factor. What I'm saying is there will be less of them out there because they're older and they're fellow. It's like saying a 1930s Porsche is a pile of poo because mechanically it's not as good as a 911 today.
I think they don't actually really represent the modern day Rolex look in many respects. In fact, if you look back in history, and you know, Rolex didn't even actually sign their cases necessarily. I mean, some of them were Denison cased back in the First World War. So, you know, Rolex would send the movement to the UK. Denison would
make the case.
Would make the case. So it's a different part of the Rolex history and the Rolex story.
Paul, I think
there's a lot of value in vintage
until
Rolex.
you got to the 50s.
Yeah.
It's the 50s.
The 50s really is when
is the
time
brand, and the sports.
Yeah.
5508s, 5512s from the 50s onwards was where they sort of.
He's showing off again.
I mean,
his numbers.
The Datejust really for me is kind of where it started. The modern Rolex in many respects. The Datejust, by the way, Janelle, I don't know if you know this. It came in just after the end of the Second World War. It was initially going to be called the Victory. That was what Rolex were going to call it, the Victory. But they changed it right at the very last moment to the Datejust.
I didn't know.
Reference, Paul?
Well, you'd only been about 7 years old.
Reference?
I don't know the reference.
1601.
No, not in the 1940s?
I think that was the first Datejust, 1601.
I'm sure he's right.
Roger
there.
Kenyon says, there seems to be lots of money around at the moment. Every man and his dog is investing in watches. Do you think once the money runs out, these watches will come back on the market? We talked about this today.
Well, they might, but they won't be any cheaper.
No. We've spoken about this. You've got a situation where people are buying. If they drop a bit, people will just buy them, so they will not drop that much. And now it's not like 50 or 60-year-olds buying Rolex. It's all the way through. There's not an age thing. Younger people want Rolexes, even for 18th, 21st. If their parents or people can afford them, they buy them. So it's so well supported.
I think the question was, Spencer, will they come back on the market? Not necessarily will they go down.
Do you think once the money runs out, these watches will come back on the market?
Yeah, I think what he's saying is have a lot of people that perhaps might not been the best idea for them to buy the watch in the first place, but they've bought it anyway, suddenly realise perhaps it's not the best idea and I could do with the money. Is there going to be...
Yeah, they'll be snapped up. There won't be many.
They're going to be snapped up, exactly.
Be snapped up.
So I think what we got there, Gav, really is two different questions. Will they come back onto the market? Possibly. Will they go down? I don't think so.
Mike C says, I may be wrong, but it seems in the US people are dumping watches. Same here soon,
they can dump them over, you know, I'm sure Spencer would like a few dumped on his...
Yeah,
on his
I mean, we sort of said in the taxi, we sort of said on the journey as well, you know, there are some analogies here, some sort of, you know, read acrosses, and we were talking about stock markets, and sometimes, you know, when everybody's on the next big thing, and all of a sudden the next big thing just craps out. But you don't have any short selling in watches, do you? If for anybody that doesn't know what that is, just Google it. But
Yeah.
you know, in stock market, in investing, you can short sell things,
absolutely.
and in watches you can't. You can't offer to short sell 10 Daytonas because if you don't get delivery, which you won't, the price is only going to go one way on a short squeeze.
Gavin, I've been a businessman all my life. Ever since the day I left school, my hobby. People used to say to me, "What's your hobby, Ginilda?" And I used to say, "Making money. I love it. I love making money. It gives me a buzz." I don't mean that in a facetious way, but it you know what it's like, Spencer. You do a deal.
Just doing a deal.
It's the adrenaline of doing a deal. And Gavin, honestly, I can't honestly say that I've ever found anything, apart from perhaps being a professional footballer that I've never been good enough at.
Oh, is that what you wanted to be? Not a fireman?
No, I just can't think of anything that I've had more confidence in to put my money. Every single time I buy a watch, I'm confident.
Yeah, the Golden Majestic Flipper says, who cares what happens? We are all still loving watches.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm wearing this Hublot tonight, because I think it's
But
brilliant.
not only we love them, but they pay people back. I mean, if not, no one's done fortunes on Rolex. I mean,
No.
anyone in the last 5, 10, 20 years has bought a watch. And people say to me, what do you think on this? I mean, any watch now you hold for a year or two, it's always going to...
I'll tell you what's funny when I think about it, Spencer. Someone said to me the other week, they said, "Do you ever have any unhappy customers?" And I say, "You got to be kidding with the price of the watches that I was selling them." You know, they were paying me like $3,500 for a sub. Who's going to be unhappy? You know,
yeah.
they're all going to be happy.
What's the oldest watch you've got stuck away?
The oldest?
Yeah, sort of the oldest piece you've had. It's been put away for the longest.
In my personal collection, which I will be leaving to my grandchildren, there is nothing that's too old. I have my great grandfather's pocket watch from the early 1900s.
Wow.
But as actual wristwatch, I don't really have anything that I would call vintage.
Nothing, but stuff you've sort of put away. So what, 2015, 16, 17? 2005.
Oh, I see. Oh, no. Probably, early 2000s.
Early
yeah.
2000s.
And nothing older than that, Paul.
No, not really, Spencer. No, I was too busy selling everything I could get my hands on. You know, I'll be honest, it wasn't really until I got a little bit older that I actually started to think maybe I should put one or two.
Keep some,
Yeah, maybe. I was too busy buying, selling. You know this business like I do. You know, the buzz is not, it's not actually, it's the doing the deal. It's the finding the next watch. It's the challenge of, even today, I couldn't resist it. We're in an authorised Rolex dealership and I'm trying to negotiate for a brand new Rolex because it's in my DNA. I want
hilarious.
a discount. Well, it's a mid-size gold Yachtmaster. Come on, he said to me, it's a very popular watch. I said, it can't be that popular. It's still in your shop.
That's why you're trying to sell it.
It's the only watch you've got
It's
in
the
stock.
only watch you've got.
And you're trying to sell it.
And I think I would have got something.
And two people turned it down.
Two people turned it down,
The family before us, and we turned it down as well.
And it was then that I felt a complete fool when he revealed that he knew who he was.
Jacob says, Paul has shared he has 3 Hulks with full stickers for his grandchildren.
Yep.
Top man Paul will take an honorary grandchild label, he said.
Well, I need another 2 because someone actually emailed me this morning and said, would you ever consider selling one? I said, actually, I need another 2.
Longfinger says, I also want to be Paul's grandkid.
Yeah.
I'm now sticking my hand up.
I met Longfinger in the
grandkid.
toilet at the watch show. He's far too old to be my grandchild.
Gav, as you know, I was his son today.
Yes,
Yeah.
you were.
He was trying to convince people in Harrods that
My dad was buying me a jacket.
Springer says, Paul, are you adopting more grandchildren? Janilda, do you want us to get in the queue?
Please.
Well, do you know what it is, Janilda? I've got 4 granddaughters and 1 grandson, so I'm used to the girls, I must say.
Vital says, so why is Paul wearing a Hublot? Vital, go to the start of the show.
Start the show.
Start it all again, rewind,
look.
and you'll see exactly why.
And Gav, I think by this time tomorrow, the invoice will be going his way. I know he'll buy
you're
that.
convinced that.
We'll take it home. We'll talk tomorrow.
It's a confession.
Greggy may have a bid.
let me tell you something. It's confession time. Guys, I have bought, I think at least...
Well, take that off. Show the glass back on.
I've bought at least 2 or 3 Hublots in my time for me personally. I just got to be careful with the serial number there, Spencer. Don't really want to
Don't worry, it'll be your
revealing
watch,
that
so
to
it
the
doesn't
world.
matter.
Yeah, it'll be my watch. There you go.
There we go. Have a look at that.
That's nicely put together.
I don't care.
So have
I
you
think
still got
it's a
your
lovely
Hublot
looking watch.
watches, or you've sold them?
I've sold them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were watches that I bought for myself. I bought a white one, and I will be honest, the screws fell out. I wasn't too impressed with that. But I think there was an issue with the build quality at the right, towards the earlier part of their launch, if you like. But over the years, I think they've got a lot better. But I just think it's a great look for the money.
That's the best comment of the night. Dick Fear says, Paul, you sold your best watches to Spencer. Do you remember that great little bring and buy sale? How many of those have you honestly still got?
Actually,
Go on.
one.
You got one.
Oh.
I bet I know which one it is.
Go on.
Is it that ceramic white
Pink.
Versace? Pink
No.
No, it's
Versace?
not.
No,
I've got to tell you
No. Sold.
a very
It's
funny
not.
story with that, Hilda. Should we
No
tell them?
way, that's sold. I didn't
Sold
think you'd
it.
Give that away.
But what about, we got an email from a customer saying, I see you bought the pink Versace. Would you be interested in another one?
In buying another one.
Can I just explain for the viewers? I'm not in the habit of buying pink ceramic
That
Versace
was
well,
for your
watches.
daughter,
hang on,
I
it
think,
did-
no?
It was for my daughter, and she didn't like it, and I got stuck with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what
But
one
I,
you
ha-
got- what one
I
you got
have
left?
sold it.
Yeah.
So if that customer does want me to help them out selling the next one,
You'll
I'm
take it
happy
on.
to help them out.
There you go.
Yeah.
What are
with
you
an offer.
screaming out for at the moment, Spencer? Because
What are we screaming? Everything.
you are, aren't you?
Olives,
Olives.
rose GMTs, bimetal GMTs. Hilda, what else?
Batman's always.
Hulks.
Yeah, I've
Everything.
heard Hulk's being screamed around the
Yeah.
office quite a few times.
I bought one
Th-
today.
They've firmed up again, haven't they?
Oh, look,
Yeah.
look what we got up there.
What would you pay me, Spencer, for 3 unworn, factory sealed?
I
Double
know,
one, double
it's
six,
Gavin's
one
an easy
OLVs.
answer. I
Yeah.
want to be your grandson.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
We can talk. We can
No,
talk.
they're not for sale. I
Okay,
just, I
well,
just
I'll
want
tell you what I'm going to pay you, 50 grand a piece.
50 grand a
Yeah.
piece.
But I'm not a buyer either.
Right.
Like they're not for sale, I'm not a buyer.
You're not a buyer either, yeah.
Tim Wright says, "Did I hear pink?" He did. It was a
Did,
pink
yeah,
watch,
yeah.
but it was. He did explain it
It
wasn't.
was for my daughter, yeah.
Yeah, it
the
was.
pink
She said she
Versace.
wanted she said, anyway.
James, can we get a pink Versace up there?
Vital says, opinions on the 44 millimeter Zenith Defy.
Ah, you mentioned that today.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we like it, don't we? We
Yeah.
saw one today, didn't
We
we?
did.
We did.
Yeah,
We saw
yeah.
one in Selfridges,
Yeah.
which was really, really gorgeous. We're getting all these pictures up from James. We don't
it's
even know
none
what
of
it is.
them.
None of those.
No,
James, don't
none of
bother.
those.
Honestly, it's great, but
Actually,
it was far worse than that. Tim, you heard pink gin and soda. There we go. Tim's now known as the alcoholic. Guys, if you do have any questions, do keep popping them in. Let's move on to our questions from Instagram this week. Okay, thank you to everybody. We do put it out once a week. If you want to pop your questions in on our Instagram channel, it's usually BQ Watches or That Watch Guy London. You can find us on the gram. Let's go to question number 1, which is Eye in the Sky Island. If money wasn't a factor, would you pick the 116520 Daytona or the 116500 LN Daytona? Cheers.
Hilda, over to you.
What would you pick,
The
Janilda?
first one, to be honest.
The 116520.
Yeah, I'm not a big. I'm gonna say this, but I'm not a big fan of the black Ellen. of
You're not?
No, the ceramic one.
You're wearing
mean-
all black.
Yeah, but I mean, for the money, I
You like
wouldn't
the
buy
steel
it.
bezel.
You know, yeah.
Spencer,
I
tell me the
prefer
difference
the
between the
older
model
one.
numbers, please.
The 520 is the steel bezel, which again does get marked. The 116500 is the ceramic.
The
I
new one.
personally,
So that's the new one, right?
Yeah.
I personally do like the new one in the white.
Paul,
I do.
what about for you?
Yeah, I'd probably go with the new one, to be fair. Yeah, I think Janilda's not far off. I mean, it's a not lovely classic look. But I think for me, probably the new.
But
But this
new
was
one.
something we spoke about. I think it'd be a great move for Rolex if they went online where you could customise some of these and choose different, especially on the gold, because you've got the rose gold where you've got the gold bezel, and if you could on the bracelet ones put a ceramic
But you know
bezel.
what that would mean? That would mean that Rolex will be giving their customers some control. And I don't ever see Rolex letting anyone other than Rolex having control of anything.
Well, if you chose it from the fact you can with the dial, that
Yeah,
you've
to a
got
degree,
some
yeah,
control.
yeah.
Why not give the people a bit of flexibility on the customization of having a different
Yeah,
bezel?
I mean, the
Absolutely.
Loom Room says, when will the Daytona get a refresh? Does that happen?
The reference is wrong, Paul. On current references, it's a 1-1.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
yeah.
one of
means what?
Well,
With the
1-2.
date just is the 1-2.
Oh, I see.
GMT is a 1-2.
They just 1-2.
Date just 1-2. You've got the Submariner, the 1-2-6610-13. You've got GMTs, the 1-2.
Could be.
So it is
Yeah.
due an
Could
upgrade
be.
where they change the movement, which will change all of the Daytonas to a 1-2 reference.
Yeah. Lawrence Fahy's just chipped in with half-time Arsenal 1-0 up. I assume that's good news for any Arsenal fans. Who are they playing tonight? They're playing
Crystal
against
Palace.
Crystal Palace, aren't they?
Yeah.
We don't care about that anyway. Right, Artisan Curation says, do you think for the average man, watch collecting has now become a rich person's game?
Not at all. Not at all.
But you do need some money to be buying watches, don't you? Whether
Need some.
whether we think it's rich
Well,
or
some
not.
of the
Maybe I
pieces-
should ask Janilda that question.
Depends which watches you want to collect, doesn't it? Janilda.
I mean, it really depends on what. Yeah, but if you're a man and you're looking to buy or to collect some sports watches, you do need a little bit of money, a little bit of savings. Let's be honest. Not everyone can have a Daytona sub and a GMT.
No, exactly. But I think you know, in the community, there's plenty of room for other brands as well. You know, it hasn't got to be Rolex, has it? It hasn't got to be
if
Patek
it's a
Philippe.
different collection with other, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you're
You
getting a
could have
Patek
tags
Philippe, you need
or-
to have some deep pockets.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is that, look, I admire someone's collection. If they've put a collection over the years and it's worth £1,000, then great.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
You could start with Breitlings, Hublots, tags. Like we
Tudor.
said,
Yeah.
Tudors. I mean,
The main thing is that
Tudors
they
are
love the watch. That's
yeah.
the main thing.
and then you do accordingly.
Question number 3. What's the best way to insure a watch collection? Is there one type of insurer or household insurance?
Well, I'm a
or-
little bit biased because I have an affiliation with TH March, who are, as far as I'm concerned, the world's best and biggest watch jewellery insurers. And I do have without using it as an advert, I have a code that my viewers can use. But TH March...
Well, you might as well say what the code is now.
Well, I don't know it off the top of my head.
You don't know your special promo code?
No, not off the top of my head.
It's
not
Paul
something
Thorpe
that-
123.
It's not something that I lay awake thinking about, to be
Right,
honest.
fair enough.
But seriously, I mean, TH March are great.
They've been in the jewellery industry for years.
they're the industry's number one. The only thing is that they do really only insure kind of mid to high range collections. If you ring up and you've got one watch to insure, they're not really going to be for you.
So if you have one watch,
I think if you've
household
got one
insurance?
watch, it's got to be on your
Household.
household policy. The other people I use is Jewellery and Giftware in Birmingham, who insure me as a business, and I've used for a long time.
You're not used TH March?
I have years ago.
I'll have to give you that code. You might get a bit of discount.
Yeah, but I've got my own code.
Yeah.
But Jewellery and Giftware, there's someone called Harry Warren,
Yeah.
who is very, very good as well.
Yeah.
But look, it's horses for courses.
With
but
your house insurance, just check your terms and conditions, guys, and speak to your house insurer, your policy people as well, because it might not all be as it seems if you ever have to come to make a claim. So be careful with your
one
house
other
insurance.
thing for the viewers, Gavin, really important. Do not insure your watch for what you paid for it. For example, a Daytona that is 10,500 or 10,750 now is close to £30,000. So if you lose the watch, they may write you out a check and they
And you're
give
screwed.
you a replacement. You want replacement
Not
value,
new for
not
old.
RRP value.
New for old is
Yes.
like the
So
new
you tell them that
RRP,
you want the watch replaced,
Market
and you
value.
must market value. And these valuations now need updating every 6 months.
Yeah.
And the other tip as well, Spencer, on insurance is that a lot of insurance companies, when they do pay you out, they'll often insist on giving you vouchers, right, where they get a kickback from the person, whoever issues the vouchers. By law, you don't have to accept them. You can insist on a payment. You do not have to accept those vouchers.
But again, Paul, it's something you can look at when taking the policy out. Say, ask them in the event of a claim, what will be your process
do you
for
pay
paying
out?
me out?
Yeah.
And then you can decide on whether you want to use.
Yeah.
Vital makes a good point of a question here. If you use your household insurance and you get robbed outside your home, are you still covered?
Terms and conditions.
Yeah,
Kev.
yeah. But you specify outside of the
Yeah.
house, don't
It's
you?
all
It's not
down to
about having it
terms.
pinched from your safe.
This is what I'm saying. This is exactly why you've got to check your household terms, because they're not all they seem to be sometimes.
Yeah.
Actually, one other thing, and I'll just do it really quickly. Gavin, we spoke about this. Driving cars used to always be.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, this happened recently. I was involved. And I wasn't. My wife was. So years ago, when you had a fully comp policy, I could drive your car. Third party agreed.
Yeah.
Not the case.
Yeah.
There is a new clause now that you have to have for DOC, driving other cars. So I may want to go and drive Gavin's car, and if someone hit me whilst I'm in Gavin's car, I am not insured unless you specify it in the policy.
Yeah.
And I asked 5 friends, and everyone believed exactly what I've said. It's totally changed. So you do need to look into it.
Yeah. Watch Pappy's made a comment of, just going back one question about watch collecting, get into micro brands. Have a look at some of the other brands. And people are commenting on that, sort of popping in their sort of brands, particularly to look at. But that's an interesting one. Maybe that's a show we should, we're not really up on maybe some of the micro brands. As I know
Have they popped any names in there? What would you mention as a micro?
Let's have a little look. Has anybody popped any names up here? There was. I have to scroll back a little while.
Tudor, Tag,
Well,
Breitling.
Tudor's definitely in there. The Tudor, there is already a Daytona update. It's called the Tudor BB Chrono. There was a mention of some micro brands in here.
The thing is, to be fair, we're probably the wrong guys to talk to. But I always say I'm not an expert in every watch brand.
Well, if we want an expert, Ian Nixon says just watch Teddy Baldassare earlier about micro brands. Well, there you go. Maybe I'll do a bit of homework tonight, and watch up.
There's
on
Jody
that.
at Not So Obvious Watches. I think he covers a lot of those brands as well.
Yeah, collecting is super simple. Just buy what you like.
Buy what you love. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to the next question. This is from Jacob Kendall. Now, Jacob says, what's Spencer's favourite liqueur? But I think it's liquor.
Liquor.
What's your favourite liquor?
I do like Hendrick's
Gin.
Yeah.
Hendrick's gin.
Yeah.
Janilda, what's your favourite liquor?
I like pink gin.
Pink gin.
Yeah.
Okay. Paul, you're going to be a whiskey man, aren't you?
I don't really drink.
Gav, remember when we went out?
Oh, no, he's
Coca-Cola. He was drunk on 2 shandies.
I'm not a big drinker, believe it or not.
You're not, are you?
No. I like a glass of port, but I'm not a big drinker. I don't really have many vices in my life. Coca-Cola. Full.
Gav, at the show, we're going to have the whiskies.
Yes, we are, aren't we?
We're going to have the whiskies out, the gins, the
You might see
vodkas.
some fun and games if you get me on that.
Let's file through to the next question, because I know Gringa's got a live going on at 9 and we want to give everybody a chance to jump onto her channel as well. Rolly Electrical says, thoughts on the 126619LB. Where do they think the prices are going with these watches?
Well, Spencer's probably a better one to answer that because he's in the game right now.
Precious metal, it's only going one way, just because there aren't as many produced. I mean, as you know of late, I've worn the 116619, which you've all given me stick for because I've worn it for a few weeks now. I was never someone to wear a gold watch, but that white gold piece is beautiful.
Do you feel, because at one stage white gold went for
Paul looks like he drinks the most.
Thanks.
Why is that?
Probably the red nose and the red cheeks. There was a time when white gold was super, super popular. Do you feel that's dropped back a little bit now?
It's funny. I feel it sort of
turned around a bit.
Turns around.
Yeah.
White gold.
I still think yellow gold is
Oh, I love yellow
more
gold.
popular.
I love yellow gold. The thing with white gold for me is it's about stealth wealth. You can wear a white gold watch and people think it's still.
Yeah.
But to me, that kind of does defeat the object a little bit.
Everyone has different.
Their own, exactly. Some people like to know that it's gold, but don't like other people to know it's gold. So it's horses for courses. It's whatever you like.
James asks, does BQ get many stolen watches coming in?
Do we get many stolen? I wouldn't
when
say
they do, you know what you do with them.
Well, we watch register, and I would say
not many.
Not
but it
many,
does happen,
but it does happen if we phone up and it's been stolen. Then the watch register come and collect the piece, and we hand over the details of who was selling it. And
you have very close ties with the police as well, don't you? In terms
with
of
Kevin Parley,
the flying squad. So when watches come in, it's it's your duty of care basically to hand them back.
Well, if someone's selling something that comes up stolen, we don't want to be part of it.
Those guys.
Yeah,
the flying squad guys. I'll give them a shout out.
Yeah.
They are top notch. They've been on the phone to us today about a couple of bits and pieces. They really are on our side, and I know I have a lot to say about the police, but those guys,
Kevin,
they're different. They're a different.
Actually, hopefully, he might come and see us.
They're a different league. Can I just say on that last question that I've forgotten what it was now, but I know.
Thoughts on the 126619LB? Where do we think prices are going?
I've completely forgotten. My mind's gone blank.
Fair enough.
So I don't know what it was.
That's what
Let's go then to Watchwind 77, which is the last question. Are we reaching the point where we can only enjoy certain brands at home? I know what that's referring to.
Not at all. Not at all. I want to make something very clear because I said this on my channel the other week, Spencer. I'm in the middle of the devil in a deep blue sea. A lot of dealers say to me, Paul, don't keep reporting this stuff. It's not good for business. But my duty really is to you guys out there in the watch community. Now, to be fair, 9 times out of 10, these incidents that take place could have been avoided.
Yep.
It's about awareness. It's not the danger is not wearing the watch. The danger is not owning the watch. The danger is being unaware. You know, we're in central London today, and you know, Spencer was wearing a white gold Submariner, and I said, Spencer, just cover your watch up. And then I thought that if he gets mugged on camera, it would be the most heaviest viewed video
ever.
So I lifted his sleeve up, so that I hopefully trying to draw in a mugger.
Nice guy, Gavin. No,
yeah.
But seriously,
what about when he was on the bike and you said, "Oh, if he falls off now, this is comedy gold for the channel."
Guys, I have got some footage for you. I promise.
Hang on. I've still got it. Still got it.
He's still got it. I don't know what it is, but he's still got it. He might not have had it in the first place.
Edward French pops in with a comment. Janilda is the most valuable asset at BQ Watches.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well,
Janilda and Kaylee.
Janilda and Kaylee. Oh, by the way, Spence, I forgot to tell you. Somebody asked for an autograph, like they want a signed photograph, but not of you.
Of who?
Kaylee.
Of Kaylee, yeah.
Somebody asked, what we have to do then.
Somebody asked, Matthew Dow, Janilda looks bored. Janilda, you got to stop looking bored.
Someone said about Spencer, could they have a mounted photo? If not, one holding hands will do.
One for the dartboard. Now, guys, we're not going to hang around much longer because Gringa's going for her 10,000 party. She hit 10,000 tonight.
Well done, Brittany.
That's fantastic, Brittany. So we're gonna jump off so we can actually all go and watch as well. So let's really wrap this up really quickly. It's been great seeing everybody. Who's going to do the outro tonight? I think Janilda.
I look bored though.
Like, subscribe. Go on, like, subscribe.
Guys, follow our channel, like, subscribe, comment, or ask any questions if you've got any. And see you next week.
How could any man say no?
See, everyone thinks it's easy.
Everyone thinks it's easy. Come on.
If you haven't dealt with us, it's only a matter of time.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.